Can start?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Robert Lee. I'm the Information Manager and Digital Marketing Specialist with Realty Point. Thank you all for coming. Actually, there's more people here than I thought, so, that's great for me. Feel free to move up a little bit if you can't hear me well, but I'm sure you can. Fidget, you're okay? Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so Facebook, of course, the big thing in the room. It's just amazing how far they've gone. And I'm going to see if this will work. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. At any time, it's not going to click. At any time, if you have any questions, please let me know. Oops. Shout out, because I don't want to pass the subject before we get there on to the next one. It's very important that any questions that you have, we answer it in order as it goes, because we're going to cover somewhat of a lot of ground. So of course, Facebook is the big animal in the room. More users, more advertising dollars, more business pages. It's really taking over, and it doesn't take a lot to hear that anytime you ask someone about Facebook and they say, what should I do on Facebook? Well, you got to be there. It's the biggest thing ever. That's great, but that has to be tempered with certain things as well. So in Toronto, because we really don't care about 1.6 billion people in the world using Facebook, right? We don't have a lot of Russian clients coming over for that. And if they were contacting you to buy a condo in Toronto, they're not going to do it through Facebook. Okay, they'll hunt you down another way. But 72% of all of people in Toronto are on Facebook. So that's a big portion of the audience that we want to attract. You can break that down across newspapers, radio, and everything else. Those percentages don't come close. Right? There are not 72% of people in Toronto listening to a particular radio station, reading a particular newspaper, magazine, anything else. So that's where our audience is, and that's where we want to concentrate on what's going on. In comparison with that percentage, this is the amount of households in Toronto. Now, this stat is a little bit out of date, so my numbers might be a little bit wonky. Don't blame me, blame the census people. 2011 is the last effective census we have. But over 1 million households in Toronto. These aren't all houses, they're condos, they're townhouses, they're apartments. But a high percentage of these people live in homes. And again, that's our audience. So using the 72% and the amount of people on Facebook in Toronto, we have 750,000 people on Facebook checking their account at least once a month. That's your audience, one way or another. Now we can further break this down through income, where they live, what their age is, their education, any number of ways, and there are ways to look at that, but I didn't want to go that far into it. I don't want to blow you away with all these stats. In future seminar, we'll certainly take a harder look at these things. Number one, everyone lies to you. You will not get leads from Facebook. Now, if you have a following of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, certainly you're going to get contacted by there because someone knows you. Someone knows you, you've done well. At this point, you're not going to get leads from Facebook. Doing it right, however, you will get referrals. Out of that percentage of Toronto homeowners and your audience, you should be able to post content that keeps you upper in their mind so they always know who you are, what your business is, and in particular, how you can help them. Because if you can't help them, you're just another voice in their news feed, their timeline, and they're not going to understand what you're capable of. So keep in mind, don't go into Facebook to get leads. Go for the referral. Make a friend, the friend knows what you do, they're impressed, they refer someone to you. That's really should be your goal until your audience is so big that people just know what you're doing. So most people have a personal page, company page. Really, if you haven't, how many people have set up their company page so far? Does everyone have a company page on Facebook? So does everyone have a personal page? Yeah, okay. So there are differences in what you can do. from the personal page to the company page. And the company page you want to do as a local business or place. Don't recommend the company, organization, brand. I've seen real estate agents having it as a company, and the flexibility isn't the same as a local business. And there are very small, subtle differences that make a difference out of how you can name your company and the different variables that are there. I'm not going to go into a lot of differences there because I don't expect you to make that mistake. You've been told now. You want to be a local business. You do have to start off by having a personal page, and then you can have a company page. Keep in mind, if you already have a personal page and it says Robert Lee, Century 21 Real Estate, you do have the option to change that once, change it to something generic, Robert Lee Real Estate. Your company page will be your business, and you can rename that, or you can create a new page and get rid of the old page should you change companies you're working for, or when you start your own brokerage, you'll be able to make those changes, merge all your other content to your new page. But if your personal page has your old company in it, you can change that once. So it's a good idea to do that. I see a lot of realtors with their old brokerage on their personal page. It's like, make the change. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can do it once. If they've done it a couple times, it's time to show up at my next seminar. So personal pages versus company pages. Add friends and follow others. Like pages. You can't follow people. You can follow other company pages. Personal page, tag others in your posts and photos. Tag others in your photos. You can't tag them to a post. So you can't bring that to their attention. Post immediate updates or schedule to post later. So you should be able to sit down on a Sunday afternoon, set up your 6 to 10 posts for that week, and you're good. Now you can stick to your company page, your personal page, and just review how things are going. Send messages, add reviews to pages, If you're promoting your real estate business on your personal page, RICO regulations apply. Fortunately, right now, RICO isn't coming down and slapping people with fines for this, but if they get hungry for money, out of the 44,000 realtors in Toronto and the 30% of them that are on Facebook, 29% of them are going to get fined just because they're not following the advertising guidelines. So you got to be certain that what you do does follow that.
Just a quick question here. When you say tag, how would you tag?
When you're on your personal page, you have a post, you start typing in someone's name, little bubble shows up, click on that, that puts their name to that post. So you've tagged them in that post. When they go to their newsfeed, they'll see that tag mentioning them, and they'll get a notification that you've been tagged in a post or tagged in a photo. So that's one of the things we're going to look at, to direct content specifically to people.
Thank you.
Because that's how you want to get it in front of them. It's great to just post stuff and hope that people are going to see it through their timeline, depending on when they're on Facebook, but by tagging it, you've got it specifically in front of them. Let's say they bought a house from you and they have a swimming pool, and you see that the swimming place now has chemicals on sale. Copy that link, post it to your company page. Here's a deal from a local business. Share it to your personal page and tag that client in it. Now they know that you're active, you're looking out for them, you're building that audience, right? You're making yourself relevant to their lifestyle. But you can't do it directly from a company page.
Thank you.
The RICO guidelines, very specific. You can have any image here. You have to have the brokerage name, your designation, and address. There's no regulation on how big, how small. I gave a lot of consideration to this. Probably the best thing would be if you have a for sale sign, stand in front of it, get your picture taken, it goes up there. Solves all the issues right there, and it's probably one of the best marketing pictures that you'll have.
So, sorry, if you copy your business card, which has all this information, would it be enough? Or?
It would, but it would look very amateurish. It doesn't look professional at all. You have the background picture that you can put anything up there. People really don't want your business card online. they want information about you. They want to see who you are. So you want to display the required information in a very subtle and nice way. And one of the best ways is an action photo where you're standing beside a for sale sign if you have one. It's got all your name, all the information that's there, but it shows you active. It shows you actually doing your job. A lot of cover photos, they just have some random picture of something that you can't tell it's Toronto or it's York or wherever it is. It needs a little thing, neighborhood at this street and this street, to give relevance to the people that are going to be seeing it. But you have to follow the RICO guidelines there. That's probably the biggest part. So you want to tell Greater Toronto about your business. That's why you want to have a company page. There's a lot of active areas where you'll have on your company page. You want to fill in all of these that are possible, and you can move them out of the way by managing the tabs if you're not going to do it. If you're not going to have an event can be even something that you're sharing a link to a community event, so you can act as a community publicist as far as that goes. You can fill that in with that type, but this is the type of information you want to go with. Reviews are great, of course, because people want to know about other people that have dealt with you. Use that with a little bit of caution. If it sounds too good to be true, I probably wouldn't post it, because then people will think you've written it, even if it is someone else. So you want to use that with a little bit of caution. Services is new. You have to verify your company page before you can use that tab, but it's a great way to explain everything that you're capable of doing for someone. Most company pages right now don't have that on it, so again, it's a way for you to stand out from the crowd. So managing your company page, there's a variety of sections that will help you to understand what your company page is doing. And it's important that you're not just posting and leaving it, that you're following up with your activity on Facebook so that you can see what's going on. People will message you through Facebook. 80% of it will be spam. And it'll go into, they've changed the messaging so that you actually have to accept the message request if they don't already like your company page or your personal, or they're not a friend on your personal page. But you will get that. But people will contact you. And this is where we want to be able to drive people, is to build referrals and to drive messages to you. You'll get notifications when people are doing any type of activity on your company page, liking, sharing, commenting. When you see these notifications pop up, you want to get in there and reply. You want to like their comment. You want to say thanks for, adding your 2 cents. Thanks for, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. That's a great opinion that you have. Whatever it is, build that conversation going. Again, it raises you from just having a page to having a page that's active. When you're active, you're going to build your audience. When you build your audience, you're going to build your referrals, and that's what we're looking at. Insights, you should be visiting this at least once a week to see how your posts are doing. This will give you a good idea of the content that actually people are stopping and looking at as they're scrolling through their feed. It tracks what people stop on their phone. So if they're going through Facebook on their mobile, when they stop on your post, it actually says, okay, that was a view. If they're watching a video, if they've watched it for 3 seconds, that's a view. It's important to be able to understand these things so that you can get a great idea of the content that people are stopping at. Maybe you're hitting a crowd of people that are only checking out Facebook Saturday morning, and they really want to know what's happening Saturday afternoon that I can take my kids to. So by having these type of posts and understanding that people are actually stopping and seeing it, gives you an idea of what other content to add to it. So it narrows down the content from everything possible to post to these few areas and subjects that are getting the most attention for you. The publishing tools that include scheduling posts and videos. Settings you should be very familiar with. I'm not going to go into that. There's a long thing about settings that are available, who can publish to your pages, the privacy levels that you want, profanity filters so that people can't swear at you, all kinds of things. You should go through that with a fine-tooth comb to make certain it's set up properly. As well, if you're restricting too many contents or too much activity on your page, you're shooting yourself in your foot. So you really want to understand those settings. And then the Facebook help. Probably one of the best areas on Facebook because you can ask any question there and get the answer pretty much that you're looking for.